Hi, great to be here. Really excited to introduce the Lightning Process Builder. The Process Builder is really our next generation workflow tool, and it's going to enable more people across our customers' organizations to be able to automate their business faster. Now, it's simple to use because you can see your process as you build it, and you can visualize it, share it with colleagues, collaborate all on a visual palette. It's really simple enough for any business analyst or admin to radically improve the automation and the efficiency of their organization. So you can think of the Process Builder really as the next generation of workflow rules plus a lot more actions, a lot more flexibility to operate across record types, and a lot more power to combine what would have been, this is going on its own, sorry. A lot more power to combine what would have been multiple workflow rules into a single process. So, as I said, the Process Builder is really for all admins, from beginners, from admins who are brand new to Salesforce, to those of you who are admin experts, maybe even developers and consultants. And here's why. It puts the power of code in your hands with just a few clicks. And it's really unprecedented in terms of declarative power because a lot of the tasks that you can now accomplish with the Process Builder required writing code. So let me talk about some of the key features that are going to help you do that. We've got powerful new actions. Now you can create a record with just clicks. No Apex needed.
Wow, that is cool.
This is a huge one. I've had people tweet me the number of thousands of lines of code that they've been able to eradicate just from this one action alone. So the Process Builder is out there in beta form. We've got people using it. We're getting great feedback. And I'm really excited that everyone is going to get to use it now. You can do things like kick off chatter posts that include field references from the records that you're working with, at mentions and topics. You can also submit records automatically for approval so that you don't have to rely on a user remembering to hit that submit button. And I know that's an ongoing problem for admins, especially for compliance processes, right? Human error, we're all human. You can also fire off quick actions. So you may know these as publisher actions. If you've got customized actions in your org, these can now connect to the Process Builder and you can automatically fire them from your processes. And when you want to extend out to more complex logic, you can kick off a flow from the Process Builder and do things like looping through collections of records and iterating over them. Or if you want to kick off a wizard that fires off screens. And lastly, you can even kick off Apex from the Process Builder. So if you want to connect to outside data, if you want to do web service callouts, if you want to bring data from external or proprietary systems back into Salesforce for the process to do work, you can connect that in a declarative way right to your process. And all of these actions were all something that required code. And what's super exciting now is that so many more people are going to be able to get so much more done without having to call in a consultant to write code and to really free up the developers. We're not against code. We love Apex, Apex code, but we want to let developers build something interesting and not have to write utility Apex. So let's switch to a quick demo and take a look at how the Process Builder works. Okay, we're looking at the management page for the Process Builder, and it lists a number of processes. What I want to do is show you how quickly we can get started with making a process that's actually pretty powerful. So I'll just call this Salesforce Live. Save it. And you can see we have a canvas here where all the steps that you need to create a process have been sketched out. But the only step that you interact with is the next one that you need to do. So it points me to adding an object. Now, I mentioned that Process Builder gives you a lot more flexibility to operate across records. And what that means is we're breaking the restrictions around all the cross-object field updates that we've had. So you can now update child records. And I'm going to show you an example. When an address on an account changes, one of the pain points we hear all the time is, wow, I've got to now go get all of the child contact records, and I need to update the address on those. And people are writing Apex for that. Well, no more. So in just a minute or two, we'll have the sketch of a process that will take care of that. So now I'm telling this process to look for a certain criteria. And I can use a filter condition or a formula. I'm going to use a filter condition. And I'm going to look for the billing street. I'll save that. And now the operator I'm going to use is changed. And I'll say that that's true. So what this criteria says is if the billing street changes, do something. I'll go ahead and save that. And now I've got 2 active elements on my canvas. And actually, I've got a third. I can now add an action. So I can add one of the actions we talked about. This is the work that the process is going to do. So in our case, where we want to update all those child records, I will just choose Update Records. And I'm going to say Update Contact. And now I'll traverse and find the contacts. I can go to a field on contacts, and then now I can map the address. So I can map the mailing street. On contacts, it's called mailing address. And I can map this to the billing street from the parent account. Wow. Now, I'm going to hit save, but you can see in just about a minute, I've actually got most of what I need here in order to do that powerful work. And I've got this process mapped out, and I want to give you a quick tour. It's called address change. This is the same process we were building, but what I want to show you is inside the field update, what I've done is I've mapped every field, every address field, to the parent account record, so that when the account changes, the process will fire, and it will update all of the child contact records. So let's go ahead and pick an account. Now I've got a list of contacts here for Burlington Textile Corp of America, and the mailing street is 98 Salesforce Way. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. Upgrade our address a little bit. Mm-hmm. Save our record.
Well, of course, Burlington Textiles Corp is on Salesforce Wave.
Yes, of course. And now when I go to my contacts list and refresh, we'll see that all those child contact records have been updated. And what's phenomenal is that that was so fast. We did that right here, and I could have finished the entire process in probably 4 minutes. But I don't want to bore you with a bunch of clicking.
Yeah. It's just
no
clicks.
code at all. And so we know that a lot of developers are writing code for simple things like this. So we want to both allow admins and business analysts to better run their processes, to have more power, to keep their data clean, and free up developers to do more interesting things, frankly, than something like this. So let's take a look at what's next for Process Builder. We'll flip over to our roadmap slide. Great. Okay. So the Process Builder is brand new, and we're going to continue to iterate over the next several releases with lots more power. Our goal is really to give you Salesforce admins the ability to be able to map all of your core use cases with the Process Builder. And we know that we've got a ways to go. This is a really powerful tool just to get started with, but there's a lot more that we're going to do. We're going to start out by letting you connect your processes. So the same way that you're able to kick off a flow with a process as one of those actions, you'll actually be able to string together multiple processes and kick off another process. And we're trying to help you map the way your business really works in the real world. We're also going to integrate approvals so that you can build your approvals in an interface just like this and see that approval process on the graphical canvas so that it's easier to have a view of your process and to collaborate and update that process. You saw the powerful actions that the Process Builder comes with, and that's part of our actions platform that we've been constructing. We're going to take that even further. So you're going to start to see actions coming from different parts of Salesforce. You'll see things like thanks badges and reporting actions come, or potentially even, an action that kicks off a journey from Journey Builder. So it's really going to enable all functionality across Salesforce to be available to be connected to your process. And that same platform is going to empower ISVs to be able to create vertical actions that they can then share on the App Exchange. And it's also going to enable you, our customers, to be able to build custom actions that are specific just to your business and can be attached to the process builder action list and can be kicked off automatically as part of the process.
Yeah.
So with that, the last thing we're working on now is we need to give you a view of what your process is doing. Excuse me. We need to give you a view of what your process is doing, and we're working on improving our debugging tools and our troubleshooting tools with a goal of ultimately having a sort of process central command center, right? Where you can have an overview of what your processes are at, you can analyze them, debug them, report on them, and get a view. We're going to be getting into larger things like being able to pause processes and resume and having longer running processes. So we'll be building Command Central for that. So as you can tell, we've got a lot planned for the process builder. We have a grand vision, and there's a lot more power to come. But let's tell you a little bit more about how you can get started. And we've got a few resources for you here. So the process builder is generally available in the always in Developer Edition, in Unlimited Edition, Enterprise Edition, and Performance Edition. We have an incredibly vibrant success community. It's called the official Salesforce Workflow Automation Group. Probably should have had a shorter name, but it is incredibly active with both users of Visual Workflow and the beta users of Process Builder. So we've got about 2,000 customers right now in the beta for Process Builder. And they're all on, not all of them, but many of them are on the community, sharing solutions, sharing their use cases, helping each other troubleshoot. So it's a great resource to go to as you're starting to build your processes. You find a lot of best practice information there as well. We've got help documents, and we've got inline help in the process builder itself. And we're going to be increasing that. We're going to be building out templates and cookbooks and much more help to give you what you need to get started and get rolling with the process builder. So with that, we really look forward to everyone using it. We want to hear your feedback. We want to hear what you're using it for. So please join our success community and tell us how it's going.
Great. And I personally anticipate a lot of positive feedback about this. I mean, just drawing back on the demo that you shared with us a second ago, I mean, that was about a 4 or 5 minute process. I've had a single phone call about 3 times that long just to talk a customer through what an Apex trigger would look like to solve that exact issue. So in 1/3 of the time that it took me to explain it to somebody to the point where they can hire a developer and then have an Apex trigger built, you were able to do it completely declaratively, all clicks, no code.
Yes.
That is incredible.
That's our goal. That's our goal.
Excellent. Well, we're running tight on time, but Sam, I wanted to make sure we checked in with you to see if we had any key questions from our customers out there.
Well, I just did you a favor. I just created a bit.ly link and it's called Success Workflow. There you go. Don't worry about a big long URL. There's again, it's bit.ly/success workflow.
Perfect.
And that'll lead you right to that community group. So there you go. And I tweeted that. Again, just to reiterate that this is generally available, yes?
Yes.
Enterprise Edition and above, yes? And so I think a lot of people are very, very excited. I'm getting a lot of woohoos. One of the questions that I think is important to ask is, when would you use the process builder and when would you use Flow? What's the distinction between the two to help that audience?
That's a great question. So you want to use Flow, or Visual Workflow as you may know it, when you want to work on collections of objects and possibly iterate through collections of objects and make changes, or if you want to create something like a wizard where you're going to have screens and a user is going to interact with those screens. That's where Visual Workflow is appropriate. For Process Builder, you can use that anytime you want to kick off logic based on some sort of event and string the logic together.
Awesome, awesome. So I would use Visual Workflow if I was creating kind of a call script and walking people through and having the user interface be interactive with me.
Right.
Whereas if I wanted to replace that 1,000 lines of code that's that trigger that's driving me crazy, I can use Process Builder.
Process Builder. And the kicker is that you can also kick off a flow that doesn't have any screens from the Process Builder to go do more complex work. So if it needs to do more processing where you have branching logic and you're working through collections of things and then making multiple decisions based on whatever input you got, then you can go to Flow.